Hi, primary friends. It's Miss Lisa, and I'm going to show you a language lesson. I don't have a rug at my house like we do at our school, but I'm going to use a towel. And that's something you can do at your house too. So just unroll your towel. You might have to roll it up first so that you have a really good spot to work. And then get your materials. So one of the materials I'm going to use are these vowel cards that you may have seen before, and I'll be showing you those. And then I'm also going to get some letters that I found at my house. Now, if you don't have any letters at your house, like at school we use sandpaper letters, but we don't have any sandpaper letters at my house, and you probably don't have them at yours. So if you have some letters, great. If you don't, I bet you could write them. And if you're not able to write letters yet, I bet your mom and dad would do it for you. So I happen to have some other kind of magnetic letters, so I'm going to get those. You might have some letters like this that you can use at your house. So I'm going to start with these letters right here. You've probably seen these before. And they all make an interesting sound. And we're going to talk about those sounds. But first, I'm going to get my objects. You remember when we would go to the object cabinet and we would get lots of objects? Well, I went around my house today and I got a lot of objects to match with my letters. So that might be something that you can do at your house, because I know you don't have an alphabet cabinet at your house. So you can write your letters, or you can get mom and dad to write them, so you would have a letter to use to do some matching. And you can go around the house and find some interesting objects to match with. So let me tell you what I've got so far. I have a lot of cool objects. When I started looking, I found a lot of good stuff. So I have crab. Doesn't that look like a real crab? It's not a real crab, but cup. Bet you have one of these at your house. Dog. He's cute, isn't he? Does he look like a real dog? This, I know you're going to be surprised, olives. I happen to love olives, so when I'm done, I'm going to eat these. Apricots, real apricots. I like to eat those too. This is can. Orange. Deer. Cat. Doll. Alligator. Comb. Octopus. You can tell because it's got lots of legs. Octopus. Apple. Orange. Okay, so I'm going to put all my objects back on my tray because I just wanted to show you what the name of those objects were so that you would know. And then I'm going to do some matching. You've done this in our classroom probably, especially if you're 4 years old. You've done it before. And 3-year-olds, this is what you would be doing right now. You'd be doing a little bit of work with sandpaper letters and objects. So you can start, if you would like to, at your house. If you're 3 or 4 years old and you've not done this kind of work before, of course all the 4-year-olds have done it, but some of the 3-year-olds are just beginning to work on sandpaper letters. So some of you have been introduced to these letters before, and if you have not, this is your chance to do it. So we're going to start with k. K. Like if I said cat, critter, cool, cucumber, cook, you would probably say, oh, I hear the k sound in front of that, in front of cook. and cool and cucumber and cute and comb and cup. You can hear that k sound in the front of that. So I'm going to take my k and I'm going to put it on my towel. I'll put it up here where you can see it real good. And I'm going to pick from my objects, which I don't think you can see, so I'm going to move them over here. And I'm going to pick something that starts with k. K for cup. And then I'm going to take my next one. And my next one is ah. You remember ah. We're going to talk about the vowels in a little bit. Ah. So if I said octopus, octagon, olive, October, Ollie, Oliver, you would know that that's the sound you hear in the front of that word. It's ah, ah. You have to open up your mouth pretty good to make that, and you hear it in the back of your throat. Ah. So try that. Ah for orange and octopus and olive. So I'm going to put ah down next to the cup so you can see it real good. And I'm going to pick an object, oh my favorite, olives, that starts with ah. Then I'm going to do another one that's d, d, d. It's a little tricky because sometimes it looks like that other letter, b, but this is d. And you might hear d in the front of donut and dish and doll and dinosaur and dunk and dime and deliver. All of those words start with d, d. So I'll put d down and I'm going to find something that starts with d in my objects. And I like the dog, so I'm going to choose that one. So far I have k for cup, ah for olive, and d for dog. The next one is ah. So you might do this when you hear ah. It's a good one for that. We'll talk more about that later with our vowels. But this is ah. And if I said alligator, act, apple, antelope, ant, actually, alphabet, you would hear that ah sound in the front of those words. And I like to do this, the sign, ah. That helps us to remember ah. And so I'm going to pick apple. Easy breezy. So now, so far we have k for cup, ah for olives, d for dog, and ah for apple. I'm hoping that you can see that pretty good. So I might try to move you closer so you can see. I'm not used to recording. So yeah, I think you can see that pretty good. Okay, so now I've got a whole bunch more of objects that I can use. So we're only working with k, ah, d, and ah. Those are the first letters that we're working with. So I'm just going to pick an object and I'm going to pick up can. And I wonder if you know which one of these letter sounds can starts with. Give it a second to think about it. Does can sound like cup or olive or dog or apple? What do you hear in the front of the sound, the word can? Can you hear it? It's k. If you were thinking about k, you were right. So now we have k, can, and k, cup. Next, we're going to pick another one. Ooh, look at this one. Orange, orange. Some people say orange, depending on where you're from, but we're going to say orange because then we can really hear our ah sound. So orange, does it start with k, ah, d, or ah? Think about that. Orange. orange. Which one do you think? I'm going to put it with olive and ah for orange. Good. So we have ah for olive and orange, k for can and cup. And next I'm going to pick up deer. Think about what deer starts with. What sound do you hear in the front of deer? Is it k, deer? Is it ah, deer? Is it d, deer? Or is it ah, deer? If you said d, you're right. D for deer. So far we have dog and deer is d. Olive and orange is ah. Can and cup is k. Next we're going to pick up crab. I love this one. Doesn't that look like a real crab? Think about what crab starts with. Do you think crab starts with ah, k, d, or ah? Crab. What do you think? Crab. Can you hear the k in the front of crab? If you were thinking about k, you're right. So for k, let me move these vowel cards out of the way. So for k, we have crab, can, cup. For ah, we have olive and orange. For d, we have dog and deer. And for ah, we have apple. Okay, I'm going to pick another one. Cat. Can you tell I found a lot of sounds that start with k? I did. K's easy to find. So far I have k, ah, d, and ah. I kind of gave it away. What do you think starts cat? What sound do you hear in the front of cat? If you said k, you're right. K is right. So for cat, for k, so far we have crab, cat, can, and cup. All right, I'm going to pick another one. This would be one of your favorites. I know you would like this. If this was in the alphabet cabinet, everybody would want it. This is alligator. Alligator. What does alligator start with? Alligator. Is it k, alligator? Ah, alligator? D, alligator? Or ah, alligator? If you said ah, you're right. Alligator starts with ah, and alligator starts with ah, and apple starts with ah. So you are right on target with that. Next we have doll. She's super cute too, isn't she? If you were a girl in my class, I know you would like the doll. But this one is at my house. So this is doll. What does doll start with? What letter sound do you hear in the front of doll? Is it k for doll? Ah for doll? D for doll? Or ah for doll? If you said d, you are right. D for doll. So far we have d, doll, d, dog, and d, deer. Very good. Next I'm going to pick up comb. Comb. What do you think comb starts with? If you're thinking about all the objects that I have out, so far I have crab and cat and cup and can and comb. They all start with k. They all make that k sound. And next I'm going to pick up apricots. I don't know if you've ever had apricots like this, but they're pretty good. You can get them at the grocery store. When we go back to the grocery store, you'll be able to get apricots. And these are dried apricots. Sometimes you have a fruit that's an apricot, but that comes out, I think, in the summertime. But now you can get these in the springtime, and they're dried, and they're really delicious. You would like them. Apricot. What does apricot start with? If you were thinking alligator, apple, apricot, starts with ah. If you were thinking ah, you're right. Ah for apricot, ah for alligator, ah for apple. Okay, next I have orange. At first I didn't think I had any oranges, and then I found one in my refrigerator, so I was so happy. But I had already made this orange circle, so I thought you might like to see it. So what do you think orange starts with? What sound? If you were thinking ah, like in olive, and orange, and orange circle, you were right. It's ah, ah. And then I have one more. This one is octopus. I bet you got this now. I bet you know that octopus is going to start with ah. Just like orange and olive, it starts with ah. So there you go. There's the first letters if you are a 3-year-old and you are learning how to say the sounds in the front of a word. You would be working with letters that kind of look like that, but they would be sandpaper letters, and we don't have them now, so we're going to do what we can with what we got. So think about that. If you can work on those at your house, you can make these letters with mom or dad, and then you can go find things in your house that start with those letter sounds. It didn't take me very long. I had to walk around and look everywhere in my house to see, and I bet mommy or daddy or your older brother or older sister could help you with that if you've not done it before. But this would be a really good practice for you in language to get used to working with these kinds of sounds and letters. So enjoy that. And then I've got one more thing I want to do with you. I'm going to show you these vowel cards. Now these vowel cards really are quite often used with 4.5 or 5-year-olds. But I'm going to show you because I think you can do it too. So if you're 4 or 5, this should look kind of familiar to you. And if you're 3, this might be a little bit new, or you might have seen us working with the older children using it. But I wanted to do it with you because I know you can do it. So for example, this is a vowel that makes the ah sound. So when I say that sound, I want you to do this. Ah. You make the big circle with your mouth and say ah. Ah for orange, and octopus, and olive. And then this one is ah. Can you do that with your hand? Hold your hand like this and say ah. You can almost feel it underneath here when you say it. Ah, ah. For apple and alligator and actually, ah, an apricot. And next I have eh, eh. And you do this with your fingers when you make the sound eh, eh. So if you had egg and elephant and excellent, eh, eh. We're getting ready for Easter, so eh would be good for egg. But do this with your finger and your thumb when you say the sound eh, eh. It helps you to remember that eh is different than ah. Next is I, vowel I. And we do this when we say I. So if you were thinking about igloo or icky or interesting, it all starts with that I sound, and you scratch your nose like this and say I. Helps you to remember that. That's a vowel. And here's another one. The last vowel is and we go like this, like as in under and umbrella and up. Those are all sounds. When you say the letter sound you do this. So it goes right here and you can feel it. So let's do them just one more time so that you'll remember. These are the vowel cards. You can make these cards yourself. I call these vowel tents, and whoopsie daisy, and they stand up like that. So you can do that too. You can make those. You can make them really pretty in different colors, but get mom or dad to write the letter for you if you're not able to do it, or if you're 5, you can do it for sure. So this is I, ah, ah, and eh. And that's the vowel cards. So this is your language lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. and you can watch it over and over again if you would like to. And this will really help with you getting your letter sounds off the ground if you're 3 years old. And if you're 4 or 5 years old, this would be a really good practice for you. All right, see you soon.